Have you ever walked into a room and felt something shift inside you that you couldn't explain? Not a thought, not a memory, a feeling heavy, sudden, and completely not yours. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and known they were lying before a single word left their mouth? Or felt someone's pain so deeply it kept you awake at 3 a.m. for someone else's life? If any of that sounds familiar, Carl Jung didn't think you were broken. He thought you were extraordinary, but completely untrained. His decades of research will change how you see yourself forever. Here's the truth. Nobody is telling empaths your sensitivity isn't your weakness. It's a weapon you've been using against yourself. Think back for a moment. The last time you left a conversation and felt completely emptied out, like something invisible had reached inside you and taken everything. You weren't physically hurt. Nothing dramatic happened. But you drove home in silence, wondering why you felt so heavy. Jung studied hundreds of people who experienced that feeling. His colleagues told him these people were delusional, overly emotional, poor at setting limits. But Jung refused to accept that. He asked a different, radical question. What if they're not broken? What if they're just using an extraordinary ability in completely the wrong direction? What he found changed psychiatry forever. Jung identified 6 specific abilities that empaths possess. Not metaphors, not spiritual concepts, but real, documented, neurological and psychological mechanisms. The first one he called emotional field perception. Empaths don't just sense moods. Their nervous systems actually read the emotional atmosphere of any environment before a single word is spoken. You walk into a party and immediately feel anxious, but you are fine in the car. You sit next to a stranger and suddenly feel this inexplicable sadness pulling at your chest. You've been telling yourself something is wrong with you, Jung said. Nothing is wrong with you. Your nervous system is picking up real emotional frequencies from the people around you, like a satellite dish that was never given an off switch. This ability developed for survival. If you grew up in a home where you needed to know when the mood was about to turn dangerous, your nervous system became a precision instrument for reading emotional weather. It never stopped. But here's where everything goes wrong. Instead of perceiving those emotions the way your eyes perceive a tree, you absorb them. You wear them like they're yours. You carry them home. You lose sleep over feelings that were never even yours to begin with. Jung said, you see a fire, you don't have to become the fire. The correction is simple but powerful. Every time a strong emotion appears, pause and ask, is this actually mine? Or did it arrive when I walked into this room? That one question is the beginning of your freedom. Because here's what nobody tells you about being an empath. You've spent your entire life grieving feelings that were never yours. Anxious over other people's fears. Depressed by other people's darkness. Exhausted by other people's chaos. And you called it being sensitive. Jung called it self-abandonment. And it ends today. The second ability Jung documented was unconscious pattern recognition. Empaths can profile a person's psychology within minutes of meeting them, not through conversation, through something deeper. Micro-expressions that flash across someone's face for a fraction of a second. Subtle inconsistencies between someone's words and their body language. Shifts in vocal tone that last less than a heartbeat. Your unconscious mind assembles all of this data at speeds that look like intuition but function like science. You've always known when someone was lying before they were caught. You've always sensed when a relationship was wrong before the damage was done. And then, you ignored it, because society told you. Don't judge too quickly. Give people chances. See the good in everyone. So you handed your inner alarm system to someone who didn't deserve the key. Jung was unambiguous about this. He said, the abandonment of inner knowing is the primary reason empaths end up in devastating relationships. Your pattern recognition wasn't wrong, you just weren't taught to trust it. Think about someone who hurt you. Was there a moment, early on, when something inside you whispered, be careful, and you smiled and said, give them a chance? Jung would say you didn't fail to protect yourself. You were trained to silence the one part of you that always knew. The third ability was what Jung called shadow detection. Empaths don't see people the way others do, they see the layers. The rage hiding beneath someone's easy smile. The emptiness underneath someone's performance of confidence. The wound driving someone's manipulation. You've walked into rooms and felt things about people that you couldn't explain, and turned out to be completely right. That's shadow detection. But here's the trap empaths fall into, every single time. They see the wounded child hiding inside a destructive adult, and they try to rescue it. They perceive someone's trauma and use it as a reason to excuse the damage being done to them. Jung said this with force. Understanding why someone is dangerous does not make them safe. Shadow detection is not a rescue mandate. It's a protection mechanism. You see the shadow, and you use that information to decide how close to let someone come. That is all. That is enough. Compassion does not require your destruction. You are allowed to understand someone completely and still choose yourself. Read that again. You are allowed to understand someone completely, their pain, their history, their wounds, and still walk away. That's not coldness. That is the highest form of empathic wisdom. The fourth ability, Jung documented trajectory perception, may be the most painful one to hear. Empaths can feel where things are heading before anyone else can see the signs. You felt a relationship ending months before it did. You sensed a friendship cooling long before the silence came. You knew a situation was falling apart before a single visible crack appeared. And you told yourself, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm being too negative. Jung called this hope as self-abandonment. And he was harsh about it because you weren't being negative. You were reading real data. Your ability gave you months of lead time, and you spent those months hoping instead of preparing. The correction, when your perception shows you a direction, believe it. You don't have to announce it to anyone, but internally, make your decisions based on what you perceive, not what you wish. The fifth ability, energetic resonance, is why you come home from social situations feeling like you've been wrung out like a wet cloth. Empaths don't just observe others' emotional states. Their nervous systems synchronize with them automatically, instantly, constantly. By the end of a single day, you may have absorbed 15 different people's emotional frequencies and have no idea which one is actually yours. Jung called this resonance without boundaries and called it the fastest path to destroying an empath's health. The correction is conscious resonance. You choose when to open that channel. You choose with whom, and immediately after, you consciously return to yourself. 3 deep breaths. Physical movement. Repeat internally. That is theirs. This is mine. Not selfish. Essential. You have been pouring yourself into others your entire life, and calling the emptiness that followed caring too much. Jung would tell you, you were never meant to disappear inside other people. Your sensitivity was designed to protect you first, serve others second. You've had it backwards your whole life, and it wasn't your fault. Nobody taught you how to use what you were born with until now. The sixth and final ability, dimensional perception, is perhaps the most sophisticated. Empaths perceive multiple layers of reality simultaneously. The spoken words, and the unspoken truth behind them. The confident image someone projects, and the fear driving it underneath. The story someone tells, and the pattern they're completely blind to. Most empaths respond by trying to fix these contradictions, pointing them out, pushing people toward awareness they aren't ready for, which makes empaths exhausting to be around, and leaves them feeling unseen and misunderstood. Jung's instruction, see everything, say nothing you weren't asked for. Dimensional perception is silent wisdom. You hold the complete picture. You make decisions from it. You don't perform it. Because here is what Jung discovered about truly evolved empaths. They become the most powerful people in any room, not because they control others, but because nothing and no one can manipulate them. They cannot be deceived. They cannot be guilt-tripped. They cannot be drained without consent. They perceive everything and absorb nothing. Jung's final conclusion was this: every single ability you possess as an empath was designed for your navigation, not your destruction. You were never meant to absorb. You were meant to perceive. You were never meant to rescue. You were meant to discern. You were never meant to dissolve into others. You were meant to return to yourself. The exhausted empath and the empowered empath have the same abilities. The only difference is direction. One uses their gifts to serve everyone else until there's nothing left. The other uses them to move through the world with clarity, wisdom, and unshakable protection. You are not too sensitive. You are not too emotional. You are not broken. You are undertrained, and today, that changes. Because you now know what your abilities actually are. You know how they work, and you know the exact moment you've been using them backwards. The path forward is not about shutting down your sensitivity. It's about finally letting it serve you. Perceive without absorbing. Trust without rescuing. See completely, and choose yourself. That is what Jung discovered. That is what changes everything. If this video reached something inside you, something that felt true, share it with an empath who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper, our guide True Self-Discovery contains 24 reflection exercises built directly from Jung's teachings.